Guys, welcome back to another episode of Winning the Margins podcast. I am your host, Gabriel Rocha, and today I am joined by one of my good friends here, Austin Espy, classic physique pro, classic physique Olympian, and today we're going to be getting into the mental game. So, Austin, before we get into any of that, where can people find you for coaching, etc.? I want to make sure that we're plugging all your platforms.
I appreciate that, man. First of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Gabriel's been a huge part of this prep. So, well, just this like whole honestly last year for me and just like mental. So, thank you first of all. And if you're watching this, thank you for watching. It's awesome. You can reach me. Just I'm pretty casual. Just like on my Instagram, just Austin_SB_. I don't really like advertise my coaching too much. It's just kind of something that I just like I do full time, but I just like love it. So if you want to follow me, that's awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. I have a YouTube too. It's just Austin Espy. I honestly don't know what my TikTok is. I know it probably sounds bad, but I think it's just Austin Espy something. So you can just like look up my name if you want to find me there. But my YouTube is just Austin Espy. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's one Austin Espy out there, so if you search him
I'm
up on
sure there's
TikTok, he's
another
gonna
one
pop up.
somewhere.
You're the one that matters.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks.
So before we get into your season, big weekend recently, you had one of your clients win what is your first pro card as a coach. How was that, man?
Man, it's crazy. I don't think it's hit me yet. It's something that everybody talks about, and I definitely hyped it up when I started coaching, but it just happens when it happens. I think that's kind of what I've gotten from it is like you can be a professional level coach and produce professional level results, and just not get your card. That's happened to me a couple times. I'm not going to say I'm like the best coach in the world. Like obviously, I have things that I need to work on. I'm continuing my education. I try my best, but it just took me a little bit longer than I think a lot of people. I don't know why. That's the way the cookie crumbled, but I'm here for it, and it was an amazing weekend. Keyshawn absolutely delivered, man. Like he did everything I asked to a T. Um, and I mean that's why the results were what they were. And I mean, obviously his genetic makeup is just nuts. I mean, standing 6'6" to 6'7", depending on who heights him in. He can be 270 now on stage. So at weigh-ins on stage, probably like 275 if we fill this cap, but that's going to take a long time. So we went in at 247 at weigh-ins 2 days before he stepped on stage because that's how USA's work this year. I think it used to be a split day show. When I did it, it was like one day and then like was prejudging, and then the next day was finals. So it was like a split day show, which is really hard to do split day shows. So I knew that going into it, but it ended up not being a split day show. It ended up being just like a weigh-in, and then you have a whole day to feed up, and then you get on stage that second day. So it worked out perfectly. We ended up on stage actually the same weight as his regional qualifier 4 weeks before, but we were about 10 pounds lighter body fat wise. So I got 10 pounds off of him in 4 weeks. He was fuller, bigger, and he was about half the drugs that he was on for 2024 nationals, where he missed his pro card by like 1 or 2 spots. So his second national show, one is the whole D class, his pro card. It's his fourth show ever. And I think that kind of just tells you his genetic makeup is insane, his work ethic is insane, and he has no problem following the plan. So, I mean, that's just what happens, right? It's inevitable at that point. Once you make that decision in your head that you're not going to give up and that this is what you want to do, and you really just put everything, into it, that's what happens. It's just a matter of time. It's just about showing up, right? I mean, if you message Keyshawn and you ask him, I'm sure he would tell you that there was several days where he was like, is this worth it? And now
Hmm.
I promise you, he's like every single day, every single second, every time I question myself was worth it. So, I mean, the guy's just amazing too. Like the guy is just like truthfully the most selfless, amazing person. His family reminds me of my family. Very like small, family oriented, very just like they enjoy every second together. They know that they're not always going to be together all the time. His family is kind of apart. Just very awesome. It's a very cool vibe the entire weekend. I never ever heard him complain, or even his girlfriend who is crushing it. She's 4 weeks out. She prepped all her meals. She was on top of it. it's a cool dynamic, man. And like, it's bound to happen, you know? So as a coach, I'm just very proud of him. I'm also very grateful that he stuck with me, you know, because like, you know, when somebody doesn't get their pro card at a show, you know, they have options, right? It's not like they have to stay with you. And like, let's be honest, right? Like if you brought them into the show as a coach, right, it is your fault at the end of the day if they don't leave with a certain not like a certain placing, but a certain look and expectation. I think we really delivered at 2024. So I think that's why he stuck with me, because the look was insane. And then we just improved upon it, right? You know, I made sure I reassured him that the goal at this regional show 4 weeks out was not to win necessarily. It was to requalify and gather data for this show. And he trusted me. We didn't win the overall. So, you know, if you don't win the overall at your regional show, and you think you're going to sweep it and it takes the wind out of your sails, don't let it, because you're not even at your final form yet for your national show or to get your pro card. So, you know, keep that in mind. But a lot can change in 4 weeks. You know, if you can keep your head on straight and follow the plan, you know, things work. So that's kind of what happened this week. And I also want to shout out Michael and Kaylee. They also competed. Michael, he hired me about 4 or 5 months out from his first ever natural pro show. He got his natural pro card before he hired me with another coach. So he hired me to bring him in to his first natural show, and he swept the entire show. He was like the smallest guy, but we brought him in peaked, absolutely peaked, and he won like $1,000. He's getting put in the Ironman magazine, and
Oh,
it's his first ever natural pro show, and he won money. So I think that's pretty sick. And it's our first show together. So everybody has their reverse plans. They're ready to go. Kaylee made an insane transformation. I think she's down over 100 pounds, not with me. They all with me. You know, she hired me kind of like partway through her journey. So I want to give her credit where credit's due.
yeah.
But we brought her into summer shredding. She got third out of like 11 or 12 girls. It's a little bit weird how that's judged, to be honest, because it's kind of like a total
Mhm.
weight loss thing, and like, you know, how dramatic the weight loss is. So it kind of doesn't really put the like the behind the scenes stuff in there, if that makes any sense. If it's not included in the video, like there's like a lot of different judging for that. I don't really understand it 100%, to be honest with you. I just brought her in the best
Yeah.
I could, visual wise, and she looked amazing. She grew glutes out of nowhere, she grew shoulders out of nowhere in like, you know, like a few months. So I'm super proud of her. But you know, everybody's crushing it, and I'm just very grateful as a coach. And I think honestly, what this weekend solidified for me is that I made the right decision shutting down this season, because I'm able to give 100% to the people that matter in my life. You know, not just my athletes, but like my fiance and my family and my friends and stuff like that too. So it was just a really cool moment for me, because I was like, wow, I'm so glad that I shut this season down, you know, amongst other reasons. So
Right.
it was cool.
Man, what a great way to one. I mean, obviously, it's not great that you had to end your season, especially not in the fashion that you did. Obviously, we'll talk about the injuries and
Yeah.
whatnot, but
Yeah.
I feel like the fruits that you got to bear from just going all in on your coaching over the last few years, and getting athletes like the ones that you have who are all in on their own process,
Yeah.
and seeing that kind of blossom into who they become both on and off the stage is really cool. Now, obviously, we're in the height of the competitive season right now, right? So we had a
Yep.
string of pro qualifiers recently. We had Junior Nats, Junior USAs, we had USAs, we got North Americans coming up. Um, Obviously, you've been a pro now for a few years. What is
Yeah.
some advice that you have for people who either, we'll start with the people who have actually won their pro card this past weekend and now they're back at the bottom of the hill, right? Because you have gone through that process of winning your pro card to eventually qualifying for the Olympia. So what was that
Yeah.
process like for you, and what advice do you have to the people who just won their pro card?
Man, I don't really know. So it's like that sounds weird as a coach, right? Like I have to see somebody's like, you know, like I'm a very
Mm,
data oriented person. So like, I mean, I haven't even gone over next steps with Keyshawn. I haven't even gone over next steps with Michael. I haven't gone over like any of these people that have competed, you know, even like John and Trevor and people who competed a few weeks ago. I haven't even gone over like necessarily like further steps with them. My goal post show with my clients is to get them back on plan. My goal post show is to make sure that they are happy and content with their reverse, and I'm happy and content with the progress they're making, and we don't miss a beat. That's truthfully my, like, I am literally writing reverse plans right when I get done at the show. You know, I might not have them done that day, but I start it because it's like in my head as a coach, I know that they're waiting. And if they're not waiting, tomorrow they're going to wake up. And if there's any animosity on their side, I don't want to take the
Mhm.
wind out of their sails. I want to make sure that, you know, whether they won or not, they wake up with a plan whenever that reverse starts. So usually I'll give them like a day or two to just kind of chill. Especially the people that I know aren't going to go crazy. Like Keyshawn is very controlled with everything. He barely even wanted to cheat after the show. So people like that, you can have a little bit more like, okay, follow these macros until like Monday, get back on plan type thing. But for me, it's just like back on plan. And I suggest that for everybody. Your goal post show shouldn't be next show. It should be recovery and getting healthy before the next show. If you just got your pro card, right? I mean, what are you really going to do? Like, if you're not like, let's be honest with you, if you're maxing your weight cap when you go pro, what are you really going to do? Are you going to turn around and win a pro show and go to the Olympia? Probably not. So let's get healthy, at least in the short term, right? Like, if you want to pick a pro show, if you're maxing your weight cap, if you really truly, if you and your coach or your self coach, you think you can be competitive at a pro show, try it. This is now the time to try it, but you need to optimize your health for sure. So, and make sure that you're on a consistent plan either way. So that's the first thing is like right after the show, you need to have a diet plan, you need to have a training plan, you need to have a recovery plan, in place to make sure that, you are ready for whatever the next steps are first, because you are probably, odds are if you just went pro at one of these really, hard shows, outside of like, Keyshawn, for example, like I said, his genetics are really good. So I didn't have to push him that hard, by any means. So he could probably like, if he was heavier, we could probably go do a pro show if I thought he was ready, but he's not, because he is healthy. But,
Yeah.
odds are if you push really hard and you've done a couple shows, it's probably time to shut it down, or it's probably time to at least, look in that direction, and at least get lab work and see where you are. So that's what I would do. First of all, is just make sure you're healthy before you even consider doing another show, because that was your goal, right? Like your goal wasn't to get on a pro stage necessarily. Your goal was to go pro. Um,
Yeah.
and then you can reassess. So personally, when I went pro, everybody and their moms, it was like USA's was the same time of year. It was right before Tampa Pro. I lived in Tampa, and everybody was like, dude, you'd be stupid if you didn't do Tampa. And I'm like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm looking at my pictures at USA's. And like, oh, like I won the overall. So like, I know I look amazing, but it's just levels, right? There's levels. And I
Yeah.
was just like, everybody wants me to do this show. I'm healed. I think that was the most shredded I've ever been for sure. Um, and it took me a couple months to like really like actually like bring my physique back to life, because I got so lean, but we needed to do that to win the show. I mean, I won. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
complaining, but that's just a fact, right? Like, we had to make a weight cap, like, we
Yep.
weren't necessarily close, but there was a look that we needed to bring. We brought it. And I just knew that my head wasn't in the right spot. When I get done with these long preps and seasons, and I have this goal, which at the time was to go pro. I didn't even really care about winning the overall or anything. I just really wanted to go pro. I just get my pro card. Um, I got that, and then I was more motivated after, but I was smart with my decision. And I was like, you know what? Like this, I'm not gonna place at this show. I just won USA's. I don't technically have any pressure to do this show, but I really want my pro debut to be better. And I'm glad I did Chicago a year later. You know what I mean? I'm glad I took a year off, because I mean, that was way more competitive than anything I was going to bring that same year, especially just a week after being fully depleted like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it took me months to really like start filling my frame back out to where I would feel comfortable being like on a pro stage, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was there. But yeah.
Did you feel any pressure after you won your pro card, especially leading into that first pro show? Because obviously, winning an overall at a pro qualifier is no small deal, right? And I think that for the people that do win the overall, there's this expectation like, if you have the physique that is worthy of an overall at a high level pro qualifier, like a USA's, a
Yeah.
nationals, a North Americans, etc., that you're one of those people that is expected to go right into the pro league and start being competitive. So did
Yeah.
you notice any pressure leading into that pro debut?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question, because this is actually something that I've been struggling with. So, and I don't know why. I don't know why. So this is literally part of the reason I shut my season down, actually. So, I've actually never talked. I don't even think I've talked to Pro about this, to be honest with you. But the man, like my pro debut was great. I had no pressure. Um, it was just kind of shitty to excuse my language, to be honest, because it was just like I had this goal to do. I don't even remember what my first show was supposed to be, honestly, but it wasn't supposed to be Chicago. It was supposed to be like a week or two. I think it was 2 weeks after that. I think it was Texas. I honestly think it was, no, it was Tampa. It was local. It was supposed to just be Tampa. And which, I mean, if we do the calculations on that, I mean, I just did Chicago. Tampa's what, 2 weeks later,
Hmm.
around 2 weeks later. So, I mean, my coach at the time was like, "Hey, you're ready early, you know, he literally said, book your tickets for Chicago or something like that, or get like, let's go to Chicago this weekend or something like that." And like, I was like, at first I was like really excited. And then, things start to like, get put together and I get closer to the show and my weight is just going up and it's not moving really. It's just kind of staying around the same, if not going up a little bit. And then I flew there a few days out, and you can ask Christian. It was just like my weight it was just crazy. Like my weight was just going up and up and up and up. And we had like pulled down really aggressively, and it was just like kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. But like the YouTube was popping, the social media was popping, and like I looked really good. Like outside of the weight. I knew I was going to be really hard to make weight for my pro debut, but I looked insane. I was like, man, like I don't even care because I just look so good. If I don't make weight, like I don't actually care. Like that's really what I thought. Like I'm one of those people, dude. Like it's one of those things where if I wouldn't have made weight at one of these shows, I would much rather not stress about making weight and then have a better chance of making weight than I guess I don't care about not making weight. Like if I were to not make a weight at a show, I'd probably just go watch the show and then talk about it on Instagram and say like I didn't make weight and then just go make
Yeah.
weight at another show. I wouldn't really complain. I mean it would suck because I spent all the money on it, but like I just didn't make weight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's fine. You just didn't make weight. But luckily that hasn't happened and I do everything I can to make weight. But I think stressing about not making weight is kind of stupid because until the time comes you don't know if you're going to make weight or not. So like you stressing about something before it happens is kind of like your worst enemy in this sport. Um, and that's, I think, kind of what started to slowly happen over the last couple of years. And I'll talk about that right now. So no, going into my pro debut, I had like really no stress. No, nothing. I was just super grateful, super excited. I knew I looked crazy. I was huge. Like I was definitely huge. I mean, I was pushing for sure. So, and that's why it was so hard for me to make the weight. I mean, I think I was like 13 or 14 pounds above my weight, like a couple days out or something like that. So it was just like, it was a lot. And that was the first time I really had to like pull down more than like 10 pounds in a few days, which was very scary, but it didn't stress me out. And honestly, making weight has just been easier and easier and easier because like you gather tactics and tricks and like you understand your body and like you get cues that your body kind of sends you when you're depleted and you're like, okay, I need to push more water or not push more water or whatever. So making weight really isn't hard anymore. I mean, I made weight when I wasn't truly conditioned for my Pittsburgh show. And I mean, I cut down like, I mean, it was like an insane, like 20 something pounds that I cut down to make weight in
Yeah.
like a week after tearing my hamstring and having COVID. So, making weight's not a problem and the stress isn't there necessarily going into the shows my pro debut year. But the year after, I just didn't do as well my pro debut year as I wanted to in my head. I have very high expectations for myself when I turned pro. And I was very unrealistic with I was kind of naive to the fact that there's levels to it. You can't have the same mindset as you did when you were an amateur, when you have good genetics going into the pro league, because everybody has good genetics. That's why they're
Hmm.
pros.
Yeah.
Um, and everything's baseline. So everything that you thought was special is now baseline. So you think that you have a really good chest. You think you have the best side chest right now out of this group of people. You think you have a really good back shot compared to these groups of people. Not anymore. Like you most likely don't, because everybody has that baseline now. Like truthfully, if you're trying to get to the Olympia, like I mean, look at the competition. I know Chris doesn't compete anymore, but I would beg to differ. The competition's harder now than it was when Chris was competing because there's more people in it trying to fill that spot and trying to fill that destiny. So I think over the years, I've just gotten more in my head leading into these shows. I know I've been getting hurt more. I know I haven't been truly taking the time away from the stage that I need to take to focus on other things. And I think it's starting to subconsciously build up both physiologically and mentally. I think just the accumulation of just pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to be that next like breakout. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I've just been trying to do that, trying to do that, and trying to do that until this year. And this year was just for me. That's why I decided to coach myself into Pittsburgh and just see what it was about. Like, truthfully, this year has been super chill. However, since last year, I've just been struggling so hard with just these nerves and like weird waves of just like anxiety and just peaks of cortisol right before I step on stage. And I really truthfully don't know if it's like pressure. Like, I really don't know. Like, I don't feel pressure. Like, I don't feel like I need to show up for anybody but myself. But I think I just am sick of not bringing that look that I know I want, but I'm sabotaging it mentally before I step on
Mm.
stage. So I guess it is a form of pressure, but it's not pressure like about what other people think. It's pressure about like what I know I'm capable of, and I'm letting myself down year after year. And I've obviously I got to the Olympia last year. So like, that's great. And I'm super grateful. But I was not happy with the look I displayed at the Olympia necessarily. It was just and I honestly think my look has just kind of been slowly going in the opposite direction since last year, since like the Olympia. And it's just because I need to focus on getting healthy fully for a long time. This sport, it takes and it takes and it takes, and that's awesome. But you got to know when to step back and reset, recalibrate. And man, I'm on cloud nine. Like, I was so in my head about making this decision to step away from competing for the rest of the year. Because dude, I don't quit. Like, this is not something I do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't just
Yeah.
step away. So it was just like a very hard, it's still hard because like, I mean, Tampa Pro, dude, like I could have seen myself doing Tampa Pro this year for sure. It's definitely like hard to like watch some of the big names go do it when like truthfully, like I just want to step on stage next to the best and see how I do. So like I don't even care if I win half these shows. I just want to see how I am next to that person I've been following for years because like that's been my inspiration. Like that's why I do this right now. I make money coaching and I'm grateful for that. And I don't make money competing. So it's one of those things where um it's just something that I want to do on my terms and I want to do how I see fit. And I want to do when my body is 100%, because I think that's when everybody's going to be like, whoa, that's 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 what it's like when you take real time off. And that's what it's like when you get healthy. I mean, we've seen it with so many people, right? Like,
Hmm.
you see these people who are just like, they slowly look like they're kind of going away from their best look, right? And it's not necessarily like the coach's fault. It's not the athlete's fault. It's just the timing of it. It's just the timing. And it's just your body can only take so much. I'm not even talking about drugs. I'm talking about just like being stage lane and yo-yoing, not yo-yoing necessarily, but like prepping and then, trying to health phase slash grow a little bit before you get back into prep. It's like there's never really like, I don't care how the cookie crumbles. I don't care how coaches do it. There's never time off, truthfully. Like, there's
Yeah.
never actually time where you are mentally, physically, like, yes, there's time off drugs, but there's not time off like bodybuilding. And that's
Hmm.
where I am right now. And I'm like, all right, we're going to give myself just the rest of this year. I'm still going to kick ass in the gym. But I mean, dude, I'm the most natty I've been right now. I mean, it's not like obviously there's still drugs in my system, but like this, I'm the most natty I've been in so long and I feel great. I feel amazing. I've worked out 3 times this week, but I'm working like 10, 12 hours a day and I love it. And this is what I kind of like needed right now. I needed to just be able to not have that
Redirect.
pressure. Exactly. Yeah. Not have that pressure and find Austin again. Find Austin again because Austin, I know I'm talking in third person, but like that's how I feel like I've been for 3 years. It's just like go,
Yeah.
go, 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 go. I won USAs and then I have not really stopped, right? Like it's been like show, show, show. the season ends, you're focusing on clients, getting them ready for the next year. Like it's still bodybuilding. You're growing. You're struggling with the way you look because you're trying to grow as much as you can in a short period of time. So you don't like the way you look. And then all of a sudden it's time to cut down. So you're flat again. It's like there's never a time where you're just like able to just chill and enjoy life a little bit. So you kind of got to force it sometimes and you got to cut your season short. And that's just what I did. So I'm so happy. And I think, God is telling me that this is the right decision in so many ways right now. My relationship is thriving. Um, I'm closer with my family than I've been in a long time. I've been like talking to my mom and my sister, and um, I just feel so much like happier right now when it comes to like just the decisions that I'm making in my life. Because when you're on prep, things can be very clouded.
Yeah.
Things can be very hard, very clouded, especially when you're at those low body fats. It's like you really don't know like what like where this road leads, that type of thing. Like you're kind of like, oh, I really hope this works out. Like, I'm putting a lot into this, like I've sacrificed a lot. And you're like, it's just a lot of thinking and a lot of wandering with your mind, and you're depleted and you're on,
Mhm.
some drugs that make your mind wander a little bit more. It's just like you start to do this and now I'm doing
Yeah.
this. So I'm very happy. And yeah, I guess there's just been this buildup of pressure slowly since I turned pro. And I don't know why, but I think this is the solution. I really think it's just a fresh slate is the solution. And I'm just going to have a clean slate when I come back to my next competitive season next year. So I think, and it's really not that long. It's really not that long off the stage, right? It's really only like, the season's pretty much, it's halfway through pretty much. I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna be over here after the Olympia pretty much. I mean, things are gonna start dying down. And
And
then
7 weeks, 8 weeks.
yeah, and then it's gonna be like, oh wait, I'm ahead now. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like, wait, I was behind and now I'm ahead because I'm now healthy and I'm ready to blast off. So that's kind of like, that's kind of how bodybuilding works, right? Is like it's really hard to make the right decision in the moment, but it pays off in the future. It always does. So that's kind of what I'm looking at it like right now.
How have the string of injuries this season kind of affected your mentality? Because I've noticed that with a lot of athletes I've worked with, right? I've worked with athletes ranging from Division 1 to professional to, Olympians, etc.
Pilots.
And I think that what happens is, when a string of injuries occur, you can start to lose confidence in your body. And when you lose confidence in your body, you start to almost miscalculate or overcalculate or overcompensate what needs to happen in terms of the training. So,
Yeah.
how have the injuries affected you and your mentality, especially like going into the gym?
Oh yeah. Um, Man, it sucks because like it's I've always had injuries. Like it's always been a thing for, I mean, everybody does, but it's like big injuries. Like, I mean, it's like things that like it just happens and you're like, dude, do I really train that hard? Because like I train really hard. Like
Hmm.
I don't train heavy like I used to, but I am squeezing the shit out of every single rep. Like truthfully, like, Jay Cutler has a saying like he gets more out of, I think it was Jay Cutler, like Arnold or something. Like you can get more out of like one set than people do out of their entire workouts. Like I feel like I work out with some people sometimes and like this isn't like rude or anything, but like I'll be hitting legs and I'm like, dude, I'm literally two exercises in and I cannot move. Like, and I'm puking. Like, I'm literally so sick and I'm sweating and like I'm literally like maxed and I'm healthy. Like I train very hard all the time. And I have to like, continue to push through the workout, which is fine. But it's like I like I just like look around and I'm like, do I really train that hard? And then I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. Like I put so much into like thinking about, I mean, I've talked to you about it. Like I trip myself out so hard before the gym sometimes. I'll just be sitting out there with having an anxiety attack before legs
Yeah.
because I know that like if I don't give everything I can to this leg day, then I'm shooting myself in the foot and I'm not good. And I'm not gonna be the best. So there's a lot of pressure that goes into it. But I would say injury wise, it's just kind of been just really just took the wind out of my sails when it comes to just, I mean, it kind of changed my perspective, like what matters in life, right? Because like at this point, it's out of my control. right? Like at this point, like, I mean, I just go into the gym and I train too hard and I'm hurt. Like that's literally how I feel right now. And I'm just like, wow,
Right.
like, dude, my body is just beat, like, beat. And I think that's why I'm so okay with stepping away. Is because like I know for sure, without a question, that I just
You
my
need
body.
it.
I don't think I could have made it through the Olympia without potentially hurting myself. I mean, I couldn't even have trained right for the Olympia. Like
Yeah.
my shoulder is torn. Like I can't even like
Right.
I haven't even trained shoulders or upper body outside of back and since the show. Well, since before the show. So it's like, it's been hard mentally a little bit seeing, obviously like coming off gear. Um, yeah, it's been really hard. Like, I mean, transparently, probably kill me. But I've been having a hard time with the diet just a little bit because like the mental part of it. But I've tried my best to like get all the meals in. But just like truthfully, like my weight cap is 234 and I'm like 227.4 this morning. So I mean, most people are above their weight cap during a reverse, even when they come off drugs. But I'm just truly letting my body do what it needs to do right now. I'm following the plan. I'm not overeating by any means. I'm definitely undereating, which I'm not proud of, but I'm not going to force the food because I'm not bodybuilding right now. I'm letting myself get healthy. So it's everything health first right now because I want to expedite this process as much as possible. If I don't want to eat, I'm not going to eat. That's just what I'm letting myself do right now. Because at this point, what am I going to do? Go grow my shoulders and chest? you know so it's like it's kind of frustrating. You can kind of see it. It's kind of frustrating because it's like this is literally what I need to grow and I can't grow it right now. So it's
Yeah.
just the timing's perfect. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it is perfect. I'm making it perfect because if I'm coming off drugs and I'm getting healthy, my shoulders torn, it just need to just live life right now. Like that's
Right.
literally what God's telling me. That's why I said I think God's telling me in every way is he literally made it to where I can't
You have
bodybuild.
to sit down.
I mean, think about it, bro. Like he literally made it to where I can't bodybuild like right now.
Yeah.
Like truthfully, I mean, thankfully, prob was very minimal. I was very minimal with my Pittsburgh. I talked to you about that. Like the least
Yeah.
amount of stuff. I mean, which is why I mean, obviously, like I think like the look, it was amazing, and I'm very happy with the look. But I mean, I need to be fresh going into a prep, and I think with the guidance of prep, it's going to be absolutely. And I was so confident in all the decisions that were made in that peak week. Every single change that Prob made as a coach, I know kind of everything he's looking for and like what the changes should be. And you try not to think about it from like as an athlete, but everything that he did I felt immediately. Like it was insane. Like I've never felt that before. So it was actually I felt that when I worked with Cameron. It was very data oriented. During USA's, I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
And it's a very similar, like not similar, like in terms of like foods or anything like that, but like very similar in my head in terms of like they have complete control of my body. Like I had no doubt in my mind that the changes that he was making were the right changes and they were
Yeah.
working. Like I was so confident. And then I just
Yeah.
started sweating, man. Like I have been having this problem for 2 years now where I just start sweating before I get on stage and done a lot of research on it. I think I have hyperhidrosis, like a pretty like
Mhm.
bad case of hyperhidrosis because I've always sweat so bad when I get nervous. Like it's just like
Right.
I get nervous at all and I'm pouring sweat. Um, I knew it wasn't any thermogenics or T3 because that shit was low, like the
Yeah.
entire time. So it's just a nervous thing. It's just a nervous thing. We didn't spike sodium. We didn't even spike carbohydrates, dude. Everything was perfect leading into it. And I look back and I'm like, dude, that sweating was completely me. It was completely in my head. So I got to figure out. I got to figure out what's going on with that. I think we're gonna just. I think we already have like a game plan for it. I mean, we already do have a game plan for it, so that's awesome. But um, what was the original question, man? There's just so much that I could talk about right now.
It was talking about the like has your confidence wavered at all in your body since all of the injuries?
Yes. Okay. So back to the question. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't have really any confidence when it comes to training right now, when it comes to like being able to progress.
Yeah.
So that's kind of out the window. It's just more like get my body moving, keep everything moving, keep myself happy. I've been doing a lot of functional stuff. Just like I've been working on like my hips because I have some hip problems from traveling so much. The last few months, it's been really bad. I mean, so bad that like, it was actually affecting my posing at Chicago. Just because I didn't plan it out right to stretch before I got my tan with like I normally do. And man, my hip was just, I usually do like a full stretch before my tan. And man, my hips were so tight. It was so hard to hit some of my poses, but I made it work, and I never struggled with that. So I'm having some like I have a collapsed arch on my left foot completely. Like it's completely, so
Mm,
I'm like doing the towel grabs, and I'm doing all this stuff to like,
yeah.
I wrote myself a little program. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now, is just the stuff that I know I need to do to be able to train perfectly when I come back 100%. I'm making sure I'm taking care of this, did a round of exosomes. I
Nice.
did I mean, it's a lot better. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's barely bruised now. It's
Yeah.
way better.
I remember seeing
So
it a few days ago though, on like the picture you posted, and it was just like your whole shoulder was just like purple and green.
yeah, and it's like people. I got a lot of messages like, "Oh man, you're training so dumb," and I'm like, I didn't train. I didn't tear it in the gym. I didn't tear it in the gym, bro. I tear it. I don't even really know when I tear it. I don't want to like say anything, but I think I tore it between getting body work and moving stuff around the house. Literally, that's how beat up my body is. Is
Yeah.
that's how you know. Is like it wasn't my dude's fault. It was just like my body's so dead that like
Yeah.
I just need the chill. So um it's just been hard because I think the way it happened kind of sucks too. Because I'm just like, it sucked, but it's that also solidified for me. It's time to like shut it down. Like if I'm getting hurt moving stuff around the house and getting body work, then it's just like that's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the hamstring tear was the first thing. And then I had the bursa sac on my elbow that popped, and
Yeah.
that thing, it still hurts, bro. Like I can't do tricep extensions over my head. Like I can't, the long head of my tricep work is very hard. It's very painful. So, but it's everything else is fine with it. It's just it's normal too. It's just like a pressure thing on it. It'll go away in a few months, but everything is just kind of slowly healing. The hamstring's totally fine from everything I can tell. So that's really good. I'm really happy with that because my back shot is really good and I need that. So my hamstrings, fully healed, I think. I'm not going to go get scans on all this stuff because it's ridiculously expensive, but then BPC, TB 500, exosomes on that too. Luckily, I partner with Morph Health and Wellness, so I get everything. So I'm very lucky for that. I'm very blessed and
What's
grateful.
what's your code?
I don't have a code, but you can book with Heather
Ah,
Tillery. Heather Tillery is my practitioner. I think she's a practitioner. Don't quote me on that, but she basically helps like I would say like 70% of my clients, and she reviews lab work with me, like alongside me and my clients, to make sure that they're getting prescribed amazing things that actually do what they say they're going to do and they're not fake. So um, yeah, Morph Health and Wellness, Heather Tillery, you guys are amazing. Literally, been keeping me going through prep because I would not be
yeah.
able to even do these shows with these injuries. So, yeah, man, it's just been hard. It's just been hard, but I'm like really just grateful that I didn't do anything that actually set me back, because this isn't a setback. This is just God saying, "Yo, dude, you need to." I can't snap, but like, "Yo, dude, you need to take a
Take a
step
break for a little
back."
bit.
Yeah, take a break. Focus on the things that you said you've been needing to do in the back of your head, like getting married, like focusing on just like business stuff and just having fun with that, because I find a lot of passion in my clients and helping my clients and just growing my business. I haven't been able to do that in years like the way I want to, because my time's been in the clients and then in my preps, and then when I'm not doing that, trying to keep my relationship in a good spot during prep and stuff like that. So yeah.
Follow-up question to that, because I know you talked about Rob and his wizardry and his influence on you, right? So obviously you came out of Pittsburgh. We weren't super thrilled with the look that you put on stage, and it kind of left like there's something to be desired in the look, right? And so as soon as you teamed up with Rob, I noticed like your physique started just completely changing, like within a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how having Prob in your corner positively affected not only the physique, less so the physique, but more so the mindset, and having someone that you truly trust, that you're confident in, and that you actually look up to.
Yeah, man, dude, this is actually crazy because I've always known that there's going to be a time that comes where I need to talk about this online. And not like I need to, but there's just a time where you need to take ownership of things, right? And you need to take ownership of what's going on. And it took me going through my own prep and realizing how fucking hard that was to have the respect I needed to have for my new coach. Like,
Mhm.
truthfully, I think there was always something to be left. And it's not like I didn't respect my old coaches. It's just there was always something to be left. I mean, Cameron was an amazing coach. I don't want to like name names, but like Cameron
Yeah.
was an amazing coach. You know, I think there was a couple people that I worked with after that where it was just so, yo, here's a plan, do this. Yo, here's a plan, do this. Yo, here's a plan, do this. Yo, here's a carb up plan. And then I'm talking to somebody after the show, and three other people have the same fucking plan. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't mean to cuss, but it's very frustrating when you put everything into a prep and you talk to somebody else and it's just a copy and paste ABC carb up plan. And you're just like, all right, so there's something to be left in your, like, there's this part of you that's like, if I had a little bit more structure, like if I had this, and you're comparing it, I was comparing it to when I was working with Cameron because it was
Mhm.
very, dude, I mean, fuck, like everything.
Detailed, personalized.
I mean, yeah, it was so much that like, it was so much that like I hated it at the moment. Like I hated doing all that shit every single day in the moment, but it works like really well, right? And there's a reason it works really. There's a reason it's hard. There's a reason you don't want to do it. And I think I was always kind of seeking that out subconsciously. Um, and yeah, I'd say if there's anybody that can gain anything, 'cause I'm not just going to sit here and talk about my bad experiences, but I want to give something. I want to give something to the people that are watching this that they can like learn from. And I think if you're watching this, I've been competing for so long, and if you find a coach who believes in you, and you find a coach who goes up to bat for you, and you find a coach that is comes to your shows and is actually progressing every single time that they put you on stage, and you're not going to find a better coach. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to find one. You might find a coach who can produce better results, in the short term. But I can promise you the person that cares is going to always produce the most results at the end of the day if they truly care. So I think if there's anything that, I can say that, I would have changed going back, it would have been to not think the grass is always greener on the other side. I was young and dumb, and the drugs, I'm not going to sit here and act like those didn't have anything to play with it. Um, I was just young and dumb, and I think if I would have been consistent with the same coach for a long time, I'd be a lot further than I am right now. It's hard for me to say on camera, but I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. So, if there's anything anybody can gain from this, it's that the grass is almost never greener on the other side in this sport. It's just your head playing games, your mind playing games on you. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much, I think, the biggest thing there. The biggest thing that changed with prop, like I said, is that data, man. It's the data. It's literally like it's 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 so much data, but I don't have to do anything but execute. It's really nice. It's just like he takes care of everything. Like it's literally so easy to execute this plan. And it's just the exact way that I need it to be. And it just works very well for my life. And like I said, I think after Pittsburgh, I have a very newfound respect for that partnership and what I think I need out of that. And I made sure that when I, talked to Prob, we sat down, and well, not sat down, but we talked about it, and we were like, hey, like, this is like, what do you need? He asked me what I need and all this stuff. And I told him, and he's like, dude, totally fine. He's like, I can do that for you. And it's like, he's done everything. Like he literally hasn't missed. I've checked in almost every single day since we started working together. And he's never been like more than like 10 minutes after my check-ins. So replying 10 minutes after my check-in. So it's been an amazing experience. Um, and you see how many people he has that are always competing and just top-notch athletes. So it's really awesome. And just very grateful to be part of like a team.
Mhm.
I think it's really something that, I have it for my clients. Like, they can get in the group chat and like it's part of the team, and like, I'm very proud of it. Right. It's really cool. But I haven't been in that like as an athlete myself, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
in a long time. And I think it's really something that I kind of like, I like it. It's kind of cool being able to like add on to a team. You know what I mean?
Community.
Yeah, it's like I got to show up for the team because like this person's competing next. I got to make sure that they get hype going into it, because like that's, that type of thing. I got to support this person, like, stuff like that. And, like Andy and Nick, they reached out to me during prep and they were like, how are you doing? And it's just like, it's just cool. It's just cool to like have to just like have a team like that. So I think Prob's built a really awesome community there, with like the team as well, and it's just a very welcoming environment. So it's really cool.
Yeah. That's one of those things that when I think about what a coach's influence has on an athlete, it cannot be understated enough because a coach is truly going to help alleviate a lot of that stress. And when you have full trust in a coach, you're in a completely different mindset, right? I think
Yeah,
everyone who's watching this podcast at some point, if they've gone through prep with a coach, there's probably been a moment where they question the coach on some level, whether it's from a protocol
yeah,
standpoint, training standpoint, whatever it might be. And that just creates a lot more stress, right? And so
right,
when you find someone who not only do you realize, like, hey, this person really cares about me as an individual, but they also have the education and they have the resume to back it up,
right.
that just completely alleviates a lot of that stress because it puts you in that mindset where you can just go execute and you can just do
Yeah,
the work as the athlete, especially for a lot of the people watching this. Like, either they have some form of a full-time job that they go to work, or they probably have a roster of clients so that way they can support the fact that they're going to go bodybuild, right? There are very,
yeah.
very few people who actually make a living off of purely bodybuilding alone, where
Oh,
it's like your
yeah.
entire job is just to be a bodybuilder. And
I
so when
saw
you
somebody
find
post
someone,
something yesterday on their story. I don't know. I think it was Judge Off. I don't know. I think it was Julian. I'm not sure who it
uh,
was, but somebody said, "Oh no, 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 no! It was fuck, John West. One of my friends, John West. He works for HD Muscle, I believe. But he he posted on his stories like, y'all are fucking crazy if you think if you're gonna bodybuild making less than $150,000 a year or something like
yeah,
that. Because it's like it literally takes so much money, and but you just have to love it, because like once you do love it, like the money, yeah, it sucks when you have to spend all this money on travel and stuff, but like it really doesn't matter because you just love it so much and you're so excited to compete. So it's just funny. Yeah, it's funny you said that because he literally just posted that yesterday and I laughed at it.
yeah. And that's where I think having a really good coach in your corner goes such a long way. Because again, like I said, it alleviates a lot of that stress and it allows you to just be the athlete,
Oh,
right?
100%, 100%.
Now I want to go back in time a little bit, and I know we're coming up on time here. I know you got to go pretty
Oh, I
soon.
can go. I can go up until like 4:28. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Talk me through what it was like being backstage at the Olympia. I don't I don't really want to know what it was like in terms of, how you thought you were going to place, because I know you weren't like the most thrilled with your look, but
Yeah.
like just being there in that moment and just looking around and being like, man, I'm actually here at the Olympia as a competitor.
Yeah. I think, man, I think it was so cool. Like, I mean, I was standing right next to Logan Franklin. I mean, look, me and like I'm not fanboying that much over Logan Franklin anymore because like we were both on Dark Sport. I've talked to him a bunch, but like it's
Yeah.
fucking cool to be next to like one of the best posers in the world, like,
Yeah.
backstage. And um it's just seeing everybody back there in person, and really puts into perspective like what you need to do. um specifically remember Neil or Nile. I'm not sure exactly how you
Yeah.
say his name, but Darwin, one
Mhm.
punch. I specifically remember this dude pulling a front double bicep, and I was just it's like the one thing I remember so clearly, bro. It was insane, and he pulled it like in the corner, like it was like over by the weights or something, and he was like just doing it in the mirror, and I was just like, what the fuck? It's like, yo, dude, where did your waist go? That is just, I was just standing like, I wasn't even close to him. I was just like, all right, let's just have fun. Let's just go out there and have fun. I was like, let's go out there and have fun. But no, dude, it was so cool. And it really does, it's a full circle moment, man. Like it, as a fan of the sport, it was really hard to like lock in. Um, it's just really hard to lock in when you're a fan of the sport and you're sitting there back there like talking to some of these people that like you've looked up to for years. And somebody that I like absolutely love is his physique is Diego.
Mhm.
I didn't talk to him, but dude, he was sitting back there posing, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, dude, these guys are just really, really crazy in person, man." And it's like, it just really, as a fan and also as a competitor, it just motivates me and it makes me just like love the sport because it's like when you see that shit in person, man, it's just like the work they put in and like the time that it takes to do that is just wild. And I think that's kind of what I got out of it is just like how big of a deal the Olympia actually is. Like you chase this thing for so long and you see all these videos, you see all these pictures, you see that backdrop, you see the backstage, you see all this, you kind of get used to that look of like what everything looks like, but then you're there in person. And I will tell you right now, man, it's a dream. It is literally a dream to be backstage at the Olympia. It's everything they said it is and more. And people say like the Arnold's even more of a crazy experience in terms of like the intimacy and like, what you get out of it. So I
Yeah.
would love to do the Arnold at some point, but that, that was an amazing experience. It was crazy backstage, bro. I really can't say enough good things. It was amazing expediting too. They like literally were like asking if like they came up and asked if I needed anything. And I'm just like, do I need anything? Like, what the fuck? Okay, cool, sweet. Like, no, I'm like, these 60 other people probably need something. No, I'm like, that's crazy that they're coming up to all 60 something people. But I don't know. It's just a really awesome experience. And I just had a lot of pride to be competing, as a pro and as an Olympian. And I know there's a lot of negative stuff being said about the sport right now, but you just got to remember that this is our sport, right? And like, you choose to compete, you choose to compete and you choose to do this. And, nobody's forcing you to do this.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to do anything. And I just encourage people, if they're watching this, to just start spreading a little more positivity around the thing that you've spent your whole life chasing. I think it's kind of ironic and kind of weird that people will spend 10 years doing this sport and sacrifice everything and then really have some of these people, they do everything to try to get somewhere in this sport, and then the reason they hate on it is because they don't get what they want out of it, and now they're
Mhm.
left with an incomplete life in their head, and then they're going to hate on a sport when that's the only thing they have. And I'm
Right.
like, so now you're hating on the only thing that you have. So it's like, why are we tearing something down that gave us everything that we have if this is all we've done? So that's the way I look at it, is like, let's spread positivity and let's bring this sport up and find ways to make the sport better instead of making the sport worse and trying to tear it down, because that's not going to get us anywhere. It's just gonna bring more negativity, right? So that's kind of where I am with it. And the Olympia was an amazing experience, and if you are trying to get to the Olympia, keep trying because it's sick and you're definitely going to want to go. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah. When you saw where you were gonna place at the Olympia, and you got done with the show, you got your placing back, you got your feedback. Did you walk away feeling encouraged or did you walk away feeling discouraged?
Mm, I was discouraged, but I don't let that ever bother me. Like, it's one of those things where I was a little discouraged for sure, just because like I just I'm very hard on myself, dude. Like I'm very hard on myself. And I think that is obviously part of the reason that I, sweated on stage and stuff like that. Like there's definitely something to be said about that. Like I need to be a little bit easier on myself. I don't know why it's been so much worse the last couple of years. I think it's because I feel like I need to prove myself in some capacity. Um, so I think, or I just think like there's people that like say a lot of things online, and this is the first time that last year was the first year that it got in my head a little bit, truthfully, where it was like, oh, you're gonna be like top this, top that. I could see you here, I could see you there, and like you just start to subconsciously imagine yourself next to certain people, and I just think when I didn't stand next to the people that I thought I was going to stand next to, being a very competitive person, it was just like a huge I guess I was just kind of like lost after I was like, wait, do I need to shut it down and like really grow? Because I just saw the pictures and I was like, wow, I just look very small compared to everybody. But then I
Mhm.
look at pictures from like my pro debut and I'm like, I'm fucking jacked. And like, I'm literally struggling to make weight. And I look like borderline, I should go open at my pro debut. At my pro debut, like in 2020, what was that? 2024. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's 2, 3 years later. And I'm like, it looks smaller. I was just like, it was just, it was hard in my head. Um, but every peak is different, and that's the beauty of it, man, is that you can't look at it and be like, oh man, like this is my best or this is my worst. It's not like that. It's like it's not a matter of like, oh, he brought his best or is he going to bring his best. Like, it's the question should be, was that a unique look? Like, did I display a different look? Like, what look did I display? What do I need to improve on that look? It's not ever going to be your best. What is best? It's subjective sport. Like, is your best being the most shredded you've ever been? Is your best being the most shredded and full you've ever been? Who knows? Because the judges are the ones judging you at the end of the day, and it really doesn't matter what you think if you're trying to go off placings. So it's more so like, I think I really like myself when I'm blasting full. I think I really like the look when I'm my waist is in and I'm just freaking jacked. Like, I
Bubbly.
I really, yeah, I really like my look at the fullness I had at Texas Pro last year was actually awesome. I think that was a really cool look. The conditioning could have been better. If I would have brought Texas Pro conditioning for my pro debut year with the size from Texas Pro last year, or even like my pro debut, it would have been an insane package. So I think that's just kind of what I keep telling myself in my head. And until I see that, I think I'm always going to be a little just like not let down, but just there's always going to be a little bit more to be desired until I see that look. And I think once I do see that look, I will actually be able to go, wow, I'm proud of that. I really do think that that time is going to come. But like I said, I'm very hard on myself. And that's not anything against my coaches. That's not anything about that. It's
Yep.
truthfully just because I have very high expectations about what I want to look like. And I'm not going to be happy with it 100% and content until it's what I know I can look like. And I think after this break, and after I, give myself some time to focus on things, I think this next season is going to be that time. I think it's my time this next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, and I'm really excited to see where things go in this next offseason, especially after you've had some time to recalibrate a little bit, really focus on, continuing growing the coaching and continue putting quality athletes on stage, getting married, which is a huge milestone. Congratulations to you guys on
Yeah.
that.
Well, we're getting
Um,
started. It's
yeah.
how it is. It's like it's a whole thing. So
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. But I mean, I'm super excited to see where things kind of go. And I think that, the time off right now that you're spending is going to be good for you in the long run, especially like just healing the body. Like you said, like
yeah.
you haven't had any time where
Oh,
you've kind of let bodybuilding just be shut down for a little bit and God knows how long, right?
right.
So being able to detach yourself from it a little bit and just be able to enjoy life and still knowing that like, hey, you're young and the stage is going to be there. However long you decide that you need to take some time away from it. And
I mean, it's
so,
been here since I turned pro, right? It's been here since
yeah,
I turned pro, where I've been saying that like I feel like I needed to take a break. So if I would have taken a break a year ago, it would have made a difference. So
yeah, yeah. But man, I'm really thrilled to see where things go for you. And man, just excited to stay connected in this next phase. And, I think 2027 is going to be a great year, especially with having Prob in your corner and him kind of
oh,
just steering the ship for you. It's like I see the people that he puts on stage. It's like go look at Prob's Instagram story any
yeah.
day of the week. He's got 15 to 20 athletes on there who look like absolute
That are
killers.
all competing that
So
weekend. And somehow he's at like all their shows.
yeah, it
I'm
doesn't
just
make
like, all
sense.
right, bro. I'm like, that
There
makes sense.
there's got to be three Probs out there somewhere who are just taking turns traveling to all these different
He cloned
shows.
himself. He cloned
Yeah.
himself. They all eat pizza and Skittles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
But
gosh.
man, thank you for coming on this episode of Winning the Margins podcast. Is there any message you'd like to leave the people with? I know you got to get on your next call here pretty quick.
Yeah, I just thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you can gain something out of this. This is definitely the most vulnerable and honest I've been on here. So I appreciate you guys for listening. Um, you know, I think this is a good phase in my life where I should just be very open and honest about everything and just kind of where I've been, what I'm doing, what I've done, and just kind of clearing the air. That way, that next time I step on stage and start prep, this is just like a new chapter for me. You know what I mean? So not like it was bad before, but it's just like I'm just excited to really just like bring a new Austin to the stage next year. So I appreciate you, man. This is really cool what you're doing here with the podcast. You've had some amazing guests on, so check out some of his other videos. And yeah, thanks, man, for having me on.
Man, thank you for coming on here. And that is another episode of Winning the Margins podcast with Austin Espy, Classic Physique Pro, Classic Physique Olympian. And that is it. Thanks, guys.